standing up here, I almost feel like I'm going to pass out. But I'm here because trying to save our home from this alcohol, from the traffic rerouting, because you guys are just doing what you want to do and not listen to the people. You gotta listen to the people who put you in office, not continually. But anyway, I went around and collected all these signatures to every single house that were home or opened their door to me in a 4-block district. Overwhelming majority said no. I had 2 yeses out of the entire 4-block area around Lowell. That right there is loud enough to say the people in Lowell do not want a social district. And so that's where I'm going to speak. And I'm just pleading, please start listening to your people and about the traffic and about our safety, because it does matter. You know, our peace and if it was in front of your house, how would it make you guys feel? You know, it's 9.5 hours the other day. So please, put yourself in our shoes. That just want you to listen. Thank you.
My name is Richard Sigmund. I was not really planning on speaking tonight. I'm the pastor at Lowell Free Will Baptist Church. I don't live in Lowell, so you can take what I have to say and throw it out if you have to. But I speak as a leader in this community for my church, and we are dead set against the social district. Alcohol, a lot of people say it is not a drug. It is a drug. Anything that changes your ability to function, your ability to make a clear decision, anything that changes your attitude or your ability to drive or anything like that is a drug. And it ought to be treated like a drug. I'm going to give you an example from my wife's family. Her grandfather was an alcoholic. And from the very first sip, he told everyone, from the very first sip, he was in love with alcohol, and it was a drug. And it took many years for him to get away from it. And I appreciate what this lady had to say. She said exactly what I said 4 years ago when alcohol started being served at Harold Rankin Park at a kids' event. She said, it was almost word for word, and I appreciate that. Thank you for hearing me.
My name is Paul Williams. I've already given her my address. I just wanted to throw a couple things out there. I had a huge thing to tell y'all to try to get you to reconsider the district, so thank you for tabling it for now. Thank you for the suggestion to put it on the ballot. That's where I personally think it needs to go. There's only a few of us here today. You know, let the 3,500 or so that call this wonderful little town home vote on it in 2025. I'm not as much against the idea of a social district. Savannah is an amazing place to visit. I go there every year. I'll actually be going there next month. But it's conducive to the idea of taking a drink with you to go. We don't have to offer what Savannah has to offer. Maybe that could be a challenge to create an area in Lowell that is more conducive to that type of activity. You know, when I go to Savannah, there's people proposing to their future spouse. There's movies being made. There's tons of amazing parks and things to see and do down there. We just don't have that here. And that's one that have adopted this. In 2021, it was put out there as an option for cities to consider social districts as a way to recover from the pandemic. I'm like, well, that's pretty interesting. But there's only 51 that have done it. And as of last month, I can't speak for today, as of last month, Charlotte, which is the most populous city in the entire state, still does not have a social district. Plaza Midwood is going to probably be the first. And there's others that I'm sure will follow very quickly behind it. But at least as of August, Charlotte was not there yet. So I don't think Lowell's ready. I think it's too new. I think we're too small. And I think our downtown isn't really conducive to it. And it's interesting that we're doing such a small area to allow alcohol. We've got other places in town that serve alcohol. Why just downtown? So anyway, y'all have tabled this to 2025, or at least for now. I thank you for doing that. And I do think the decision needs to go before the people, because I think enough people are not in favor of it that that's where it needs to go. So thank you for y'all's time. Thank you for voting. In my opinion, it was the right thing to do, and I greatly appreciate it.
Addiction problems are something that affects most families. Oh, Alice Neal, 3006 Laurel Road, Gastonia, I'm sorry. If you have a relative who has had addiction problems, you know what this lady is saying. Thank God she turned her life around. But a lot of them don't have that opportunity. And having social district is just opening it up for alcoholics. Who wants a drink before 10 a.m.? I oppose the hours. If it comes back on the ballot, I don't think it should be at 10 a.m. And I certainly don't think it should be at 10 a.m. on the Sabbath. And I thank y'all for tabling it. I think it did not get enough. Other things, the traffic, for instance, when you built these warehouses, the contract should have read, roads first. You have inconvenienced everybody in the city of Lowell with the traffic constructing that warehouse section. You can't get out of your driveway. I know exactly what she's saying. Thank you for tabling, and I hope you put it on the ballot.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
How you doing? My name is Nick Felton. I live at 303 Caroline. I'm a new resident of Lowell, and I just want to say that I'm very proud to live in Lowell. I think that Lowell has a lot of potential. And personally, I'd like to donate any kind of services I can to help beautify downtown Lowell, make it even better than it is. With that said, I just want to say thank you for listening to everybody, and go Lowell.
I'm Brenda Carr, lived with my family for over 60 years. I've been in Lowell all my life, 507 Robinson Street for 60 years. Born in Lowell, raised in Lowell, and I'm telling you, I never thought this would even be a part of Lowell, not one part, because it's wrong in the beginning. This is a Christian little town mostly. There's mostly Christians. Look at the churches that's around. Look at the little children that's going to see this, and look what they're going to be doing. They're going to think it's okay as they grow up, and they're going to be alcoholics because they think it's okay. You know, my husband has never drank. I have never drank a drop in my life, and my daughter, she was pushing to be sure she was here tonight. She read it in the paper. It upset her something really bad because we live on a little small street down there that you all won't even widen. I mean, I've almost run into the school bus, and the school bus has almost run into me. And I can't tell you how many people, they don't rush the speed limit. It don't make any difference. They just fly around the curve, and that's where I'm coming in at. You know, I'm careful because I know what they're going to do. But when they get alcohol in their system, it's going to be even worse. You know, they get that alcohol in there, and it's going to be worse. And I have never been up here for a meeting, but I was coming for this one. This was the most important thing in my life, that this little town that I was born in, I was born in a little house, you know, up the street. And I've been here all my life. And I stayed because and we bought a home here. And I stayed because it was such a good little town. I mean, you could get on the street and walk and not have no problem. Today, you can't always do that. And if you put alcohol in, you'll never be able to do it. You'll never be able to walk the street again. Nobody won't. You know, so this is something I think you should table forever. That's just the way I feel about it. And let me tell you, I'm going to pray for it every day, all day long. I'll pray for it. And whether you're a Christian or not, you better be asking the Lord to help you. Because if He doesn't help you that way, and you become a Christian and realize that this is the wrong thing to do for this small town. This is a good town, a wonderful town to live in. And if the Lord don't convict you, I don't know what's wrong with you. Don't let the devil get to you, because this is exactly what he tries to do. He tries to come in and mess up something that we've got good in this town. You know, this town was a good town, and there's no point in putting something in here that nobody should have to put up with. I am almost 80 years old. I have weathered a lot of storms in my life, a lot of things, but I have never had to put up with alcohol. I knew it wasn't around me. I know there's some other things around me in my neighborhood that I didn't like, and I don't like some streets back, but they've never bothered me, because I try to stay on the Lord's side as much as I can. And honest to goodness, we people don't need it. We people don't need it. Look at them. Look at all the people that's here. I mean, they're telling you that this is not right. Table it forever. Not just to 25. Table it forever. I don't know that I'm going to be here forever, but I'm going to pray for somebody to be here forever. It's going to stand up for the people. Stand up for the Lord. Don't just take Him and think He's going to be with you. Stand up for Him. Stand up and make sure that He is the main one that we should have on our side. The main one. And I didn't come up here to do that, but I know my daughter is younger, and she might be here after I am. I sure want her to be in a happy town that's not put on, liquor's put all over the place. Because if it once gets here, it's going to be all over the town. Because people's going to walk all over drinking it. And the next thing you know, they'll be alcoholics, right? I mean, you know. And we got somebody here that understands and knows that it was wrong, you know. So why don't you all realize that if you're going to do anything in this town and we're going to be able to vote for you, let us be able to vote for the right person that's going to come in here and tell people what they need and get things done for each other. Make sure all of you are in sync with things that's supposed to go on, you know, that's right, and things that's not wrong. And this is wrong in my books, completely wrong.
I'm Heather C., 1110 Catawba Run. I just want to say thank you. I know the social district's been a big topic, and a lot of people do seem against it. Like the gentleman that spoke earlier, you know, I don't have a big opposition to it myself, but I don't think we're ready, like Joanna, like you said. So thank you for listening to all the people and putting this on the table. And I do agree that I think it should be on the ballot in 2025. I think that's the way we should move. And I'd also like to clarify a comment that Larry Simons made about the planning board approving a warehouse in McAdenville. The Lowell Planning Board does not have the authority to approve a warehouse in the city of McAdenville. We approved to allow them to spend millions of dollars to replace our sewer line, the line that got hit by a tree and spilled thousands of gallons of raw sewage into the South Fork River a few months ago. So I just wanted to clarify that. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Heather.
Hello, my name is Bill Knox, 5105 Meadowwoods Drive. I had no intentions in talking tonight, but I have been coming to these council meetings since I moved here in 2018. The ones that I haven't been able to come to in person, I've watched online or listened to the replay of the Audible. A couple things. I want to make a public endorsement of Norris Lamb for mayor. I have seen the other candidates stand right here week after week, publicly ridicule this board and this council, say demeaning things, disparaging things. And I think it's important that we have somebody like Norris Lamb as a mayor who is going to put some respect and dignity back in this town. I have talked to other candidates that are running, and they don't want to come out and say who they support as the mayor. And I think it's very important, even though the mayor does not have a voting position, that the mayor is the face of Lowell. I love Lowell. I've gotten involved in Lowell. I serve on a committee in Lowell. And it really breaks my heart in the short time that I've been here to see how one or two people can talk so disparaging to this board. They even talk negatively about the employees in the front office, telling them that they couldn't even find the clock on the wall. And I'm telling you, I'm making a public endorsement of Norris Lamb for mayor.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I am so happy that this is democracy at work. The Gazette came to us, Candy and myself, I think we were the only ones that responded in the press. And if you read the newspaper, even though we voted to table it, and I'm like the lady that said we don't need to keep kicking it down the road, after hearing what I heard tonight, and that's what I said in the paper, I just want to hear. And I heard if I had to vote tonight, I would vote no social distance. And I just wanted y'all to know that. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yeah, if you would, please, before we move on.
else for public speaking?
Hope everybody's doing very well today. Just want to express, some.
Need your name.
Jeff Miller. I don't necessarily live in this city. I live on 2333 Winterfield Drive in Gastonia, but you see me quite a bit in this town, and that more than just a railroad nut by the tracks, but I'm also concerned about the safety issues that this could bring, and I'm glad to know that this is being tabled for now. Personally, I prefer it be thrown out altogether, but that's just me, because the safety ramifications, people, when people are given the liberty to walk around intoxicated and not in their right mind, it could basically put some other people in danger, like if they decide they want to pick a fight with some random dude on the street and such, or just want to act out all crazy. Those are some concerns of mine, and of course the DUI, and do we have enough officers to enforce such actions? Now, I'm not downing the police. I think the world of the police officers we have, but do we have enough to be able to keep everything like in bounds and such? And to me, I'm just, then of course somebody brought up blocking Main Street. I just don't feel like this town is the right town for the social districting. I almost said distancing, but yeah, thank you, COVID, for getting in my head. But anyway, yeah, I think it'd be best for the city to say no to this thing altogether, because of the safety reasons. And, that's my key concern right there. Don't have much to say, so I yield back. Thank you.
As some of the others said, I hadn't planned to do this. But I was raised here in, pardon? Oh, I'm sorry, Patty Buffin, 3007 Laurel Road. I live right across from the Free Will Baptist Church. And I was raised here, went to school here. My mother and father died here. They're over here in the cemetery. My mother and my father both would turn over in their grave if it was ever be mentioned that they bring alcohol to Lowell. And so would all the older people in Lowell that has gone on. I am 89 years old. And my husband passed away this past April, my second husband. I outlived two good ones. And we have seen wrecks on number 7 many a time. If you let alcohol go through, you're gonna see more. We've had telephone poles, I don't know how many times, ran into and just destroyed it. So if you let it go through, I'm like the rest of them. I wouldn't even think about doing it in 2025. Just do away with it, period. Because who needs it? Do y'all drink? If y'all drink, go to Gastonia. They'll let you drink there. But don't do it here in this good town. Thank you. God bless.
Anyone else? No, okay. Okay, if not, we'll move on if no one else wishes to speak, okay? Next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from 9/12/2023. Motion to approve?
Second.
Candy's a motion. Travis second. All in favor? Unanimous? We still have to wait on this. Okay. Okay, next on the agenda is a special presentation. We have a proclamation 03-2023 in memory of Sam Meacham. Proclamation in memory of Samuel Sam R. Mitchum, Jr., PR 03-2023. Whereas Samuel Sam R. Mitchum, Jr. passed away on Thursday, April the 27th, 2023. And whereas he was a longtime member of Woodlawn Baptist Church, where he has been a member since he was 5 years old, he loved hearing and singing the old hymns. Whereas Sam was a 1977 graduate of Ashbrook High School and went on to study at Gaston Community College in Business Administration. Whereas he owned and operated Sam's Jewelry and Pawn Shop since 1992, always willing to help and give, and he was a dedicated Mason and Shriner. Whereas he was a dedicated public servant who worked to enhance the lives of Lowell residents during his term with the Planning Board from November 1982 to November 1991, and his 2 terms as a city council member from December 1999 to December 2007 and November 2009 to December 2017. And whereas he offered himself unselfishly and willingly in pursuit of a better community for all the citizens. Now therefore I, Sandy H. Rayleigh, Mayor of the City of Lowell, on behalf of the City of Lowell Council, do hereby proclaim that the city extend its sincere appreciation to Samuel Sam R. Mitchum Jr. for his contributions to the community and offers condolences and deepest sympathies to his family and friends on behalf of the grateful residents of Lowell. This, the 10th day of October, 2023. At this time, we'd like to present Donna, his wife, a flag.
I'd just like to say, Sam was raised with my twin brother Kelly, and had the best of times. Thank you, that's beautiful. Thank you guys for doing that. He's looking down, he's got big face. He's gonna hang this up soon. And actually, Sam grew up on Lineberger Street, and he loved Lowell, he loved Lineberger Street. His mom and dad worked at the mills. He was just, he was one of a kind. He had friends in every circle, you know, and he just wanted everybody to be happy, you know, and he always cared about people. And I didn't know until after unfortunately, he got diagnosed at a young age with early onset Alzheimer's. And when he passed away in April, he was 63. He was only 63, so, but everyone here that knew him, we watched him, you know, slip away every day. He was at Robert Johnson for 2 years. But the community has been such a great support and have been there for me. And my sister and my brother-in-law moved here a little over a year ago. But Sam just loved Lowell, and he's happy. He's looking down right now, and he's dancing, and he's, you know, he's up there saying, all right, now, come on, let's get on with this weekend. Let's get on with it. But no, seriously. Yeah, he's singing Elvira. He's singing Elvira, exactly. Exactly.
And I'm his backup.
Yeah, that's right. Thank y'all so much. And the festival Saturday was off the chain. Yeah. I mean, he would have loved that. I mean, it was, whoever put all that together. I mean, I know there was some inconveniences, but it was our first big one. You know, we're gonna go through growing pains, but I think we got this.
On that note, can I just say something about prayer for one of our townspeople that is about to go into war? Steve Ryan, who was our city council, has been deployed. He's been in Iran, but with Israel, with everything going on, I just want to ask for prayer for Israel. A friend of mine, their niece was one of the victims killed in the concert in Israel when all this started, the very first attacks. And it's very, 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 the things that are actually happening there are very, very evil. And so our military needs a lot of prayer going against this terrorist group and organization. So if you can take time to pray for Israel and for all the service people and their families.
Absolutely.
Just wanted to bring that up because it's really, really big right now.
Thank you. Okay. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. You have all the items listed below that. Those were in your packets.
Motion to approve consent agenda?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, next is unfinished business. 5A, public hearing, economic development grant agreement, Project Seattle.
Madam Mayor, you can entertain a motion to enter public
Okay.
hearing.
Need a motion to go into public hearing.
Motion to go into public hearing?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Unanimous? Okay.
All right. Thank you, Madam Mayor, Council. We received a application from Project Seattle, which is a Fortune 500 company, who is considering a total investment of $21 million to establish a facility in Gastonia and Lowell in our Gateway 85 Industrial Park located at building number 7. This is the building at the most northern end of the former Lineberger Road. Project Seattle's anticipated to approximately add 107 new jobs with an average salary of $25.82 per hour. And the company's capital investment in the property and operations allow it to qualify for a Level 2 economic development grant. And then I've included that information, the resolution, and what that schedule would look like in your packets. And I can answer any questions that you might have specific to this public hearing.
Do we know what Project Seattle is?
We do not. That's a code name.
Right.
They have not announced yet. As a reminder of why companies do that, with the North Carolina Department of Commerce, they are the ones that announce that in tandem with those companies. And if it gets out who that company is beforehand, Department of Commerce will pull back all of their incentives and not offer them those grants at the state level. So at the Gaston County Economic Development Corporation level and the cities of Lowell, cities of Gastonia, we're not given that information.
Mr. Hathaway, can you give a general idea of a percentage of the total property value that is?
Joe, I'll defer to you on that. You're our planning director and been working on a lot with this development about what percentage building number 7 is in Lowell.
So let me back up for 1 second. Number 7 is 700,000 feet. It's my understanding they're taking half. And the half that they're taking, a sliver of that is in Lowell, correct?
Correct.
So it's a sliver of 350, not a sliver of 700.
Yeah, they're taking half of that 750,000 square feet building.
And of that half, they're taking a little bit.
We clip the corner.
We clip the corner.
Bottom right corner of it.
So minimal footage.
Correct, it's just the southwest corner of the building and the parking lot.
Do we know kind of a guess, but are we talking 50,000 square feet or?
That or probably less.
Less than 50,000 square feet.
I had to guess.
So the impact is minimal.
Definitely a lot more parking lot in Lowell than the building, just the way the jurisdictional line runs through.
If you're gonna appraise value, it is.
Very minimal.
Yes.
Even with my glasses on, I'm sorry, I can't see these very tiny numbers. How much will they be getting per year in incentives? I see yellow, but I'm sorry, I just can't see the numbers.
All right, so the City of Lowell grant amount, it's listed as years 1 through 5 at $83,790. then 73,696, and 65,170, 46,864, 35,260.
So this is over 5 years,
Walks down from 5 years, yes, ma'am.
and that's what we would receive, or they would receive,
That's the grant amount,
that they would receive.
correct. And then in the column beside that, the total City of Lowell paid begin at the 1,310 up to 18,424, 27,930, 35,76, 35,260, for a total of 121,520.
Prior to development, what would you estimate the tax income from all property up to the line, parking lot and everything else would be worth with trees on it?
The whole former Lineberger tract of property, it's been about 1.5 years since I was asked this question, but it was in the neighborhood of a few $1,000s or several $100s a year that was paid because I think there was an agricultural exemption on the property from just it being wooded and maybe logged every so often.
Scott, how many jobs do you say this would create? Are they planning on creating?
Sure, it's 107 new jobs with an average salary of $25.82.
Right. And may I have a problem with, giving them grant incentives and everything, but when we go look at Sonic right over here on South Main Street toward Wilson Boulevard, when we look at Newell, they say economic development, all that, say they're gonna have so many jobs, and my only concern has been with giving grants is that we make sure that people, and you can't control this, from Lowell get an opportunity to work, because when you got people working, it's good economics for the city. So my thing is, when I vote to give an incentive and somebody says, oh, they don't do this, they don't do that, my main concern is for the people of Lowell to get jobs so they can have income for their families. Thank you.
Mr. Gillespie, can I agree with that, 100%. The interesting thing with Sonic was that Sonic reached out to us and we gave them names and we gave them people. We offered up, or we were in conjunction with the state and the county on the incentive that was offered to Sonic that never did meet the criteria, has never received any credit, rebate, any types of money thereof. They pay 100% of the tax value of their property every single year. So the misconception in the community is we're just funneling money back out, giving cash back.
No.
That's not true. The way this works is what's good for one is good for the other, okay? You do this for us, then we credit you back for this. You pay 100% here, and if you meet this criteria, you file an application for reimbursement. And if you meet the criteria, you prove that you meet the criteria, you get the reimbursement. Sonic has never done that. Sonic has paid 100% of their taxes and not received any reimbursement for anything because they have not met the criteria. So we've done this thing down here for Newell, right? They will file, they prove they meet the criteria, they get their thing back, right? It's all about economic development, okay? So to your point, in Sonic's, yes, we got all these applications to them. They never developed. They never did it, right? So our people that applied, for example, did not gain employment here because they didn't employ anybody. COVID hit, it died, they changed directions, whatever their business thing was, is their deal. We're just taking a check now for Texas. These guys over here, same thing. We encourage you to reach out to the citizens of Lowell. It's up to the citizens of Lowell that are looking for a job, that want to be employed, you know, to go out and grasp that. But I would hope that they would reach out to Lowell first and reach out to those people.
And just to piggyback onto that, I know the mayor mentioned in her closing remarks last meeting about Newell, about going to apply for a job, and maybe you read out the website or website link. And that's something that we'll look to build a rapport with whatever company this is as soon as it's announced of who it is and try. Now, we do not have an economic development department in our small staff at City of Lowell, but we will still reach out from the planning department, from my office, and try to make that communication and get it out on bulletin boards and anything we can do in the community.
Supposed to bring 500 jobs, and then they never did it. And they even tried to apply to get that incentive back, and you told them no, correct?
Yeah, there was discussion more recently about them not being able to qualify for that initial level, and then maybe coming for a level 1 or a 2, and it never even came to this board. And as you know, riding by multiple times a day, there's not many employees there. I think they went to a remote, but I don't know what the final plans are with the property at this point over there.
I think the big thing to make sure people understand is, this is not a giveaway thing. This is, you gain this advantage if you give us this. If you're not gonna give us this, you don't get that, all right? It's that simple. It really is. Nobody's dropping their drawers just to have somebody come in and build shop. Okay.
If we, I'm just asking, if we would vote no on this, they would still build, correct?
That I don't know.
Okay. That's just,
I mean, the building is built,
right,
so they're just looking for tenants.
right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, to clarify, the city attorney mentioned that we already did an economic development agreement for the entire development within Lowell. Now this is for the tenant-specific one. Like, we did the EDA for the Gateway 85 North Point development, right? And then we had to come back and do one for Newell, the 1.6 million square foot building over there, which is about 97% in Lowell, the big one along the highway. And you all voted on that recently. So this is another one of those. This is a tenant-specific situation.
I guess just the investment criteria that they have to meet, therefore, is for the equipment, the fixtures, the things that get installed inside the building. They don't get credit for the building itself or the parking lot.
I'm investing enough money in this
Right.
community. I'm here for the long haul, for you to give me a little break to make my money back, is what it amounts to, right?
Right, right. If they do not,
At the end of the day.
those thresholds they have to meet based on
Right.
new expenditures that go into the buildings.
Exactly.
Yeah, business, personal property, equipment, racking, merchandise.
Exactly. I'm gonna make this investment.
Correct.
Give me a little help.
Project Seattle. Pardon?
It's the 700,000 square feet that's up here closest to railroad.
Yeah.
So the one right there at the railroad,
Yeah.
where the road comes up and does this?
Yep.
Thank
And just for the clerk's record, could you please state your name again, make sure she's got you right on the minutes?
Paul Williams.
Paul Williams. Thank you.
Okay. Now I'll take that motion,
We need to close public hearing.
if everybody's finished.
Motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to close. All in favor? Unanimous?
Candy.
Candy?
Motion to approve resolution 08-2023.
Second. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Unanimous? It should come up just a little slow. There we go. Okay. Next is new business. Discussion of change order 001 and 002 demolition project 1602 North Main Street.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We received change orders 001 and 002. Briefly go over those and can answer any questions on those. The first change order is in regards to the canopy on loading dock 3A. That is the loading dock that you see front and center on North Main or Lowell Spencer Mountain Road. We looked at that. We had our structural engineer, who is a construction manager on this project with Labella, analyze that canopy. We were set to keep that canopy for a small event stage on the redevelopment plans of this site that our architects identified in the conceptual master plan for this project. It was found that that canopy of that loading dock was tied into the warehouse portion. Matter of fact, if you went by there today, you'll still see a piece of wall from the warehouse where that canopy steel runs into it. It is recommended by our structural engineer that that is not a sufficient, it cannot carry the sufficient load once that other piece of wall comes down, and they recommend taking it down and just rebuilding and looking at in the redevelopment plans when we get to that point and building a new canopy. And I actually brought our architect out there today, and he agreed with the structural engineer after looking at it in that viewpoint that there could be a better solution. We were given about a $4,500 design estimate from an engineer to figure out how to design what is there. And then that's just the plans to then bid out to figure out how much it's going to actually cost to construct the bracing and whatnot. So it's recommended by staff to remove that, and it's a zero cost change order to remove the canopy. Then change order number 2. This is in the packet, and Joe, are you toggling along here on the screen? So next one. Okay, so that is where we identified the canopy from change order number 1. That was the initial thought, was to put a span there, or that was the demolition contractor's initial thought, to put a span there. And then after looking at it with, I think, their structural engineer, and we brought ours in there, it was deemed that that would not carry the load either. Okay, and then there's a letter in the packet from Labella, our engineer, identifying that and showing their recommendation to remove that canopy. And then in the change order number 2, there's quite a few items in here. In structure 1, there's a clarifier at the northeast corner of building number 7. Used to be a sulfuric acid tank and containment. Structure 2, there's 2 concrete containment walls at the front of building 5 that you also see from Lowell Spencer Mountain Road that was not included in the bid document. There's various pipe racking that runs throughout the northeast side of the site. Structure 4, tank containment, is east of building 30. That associated equipment. And several other separated out pipe racking, structures 5, 6, and 7 pipe racking. Structure 8, 2 concrete containment basins. There's various debris scattered throughout the site. This would include removing that all the way to the fence line at Poston Park. Appeared in this property was undocumented soils in 2 different buildings. That's structure 10, undocumented soil dumped inside building number 12, and undocumented soil dumped inside building number 4. Now, we've had that soil tested and it came back negative, so it's good to dispose of. We just have to get it trucked off of the site. We asked DEQ if we could just use it on the site, but that is not where our approval came from, and so we'd have to go through a pretty lengthy reapproval process to use any material on site. Structure number 12, this is the building that we are keeping. We commonly refer to it as kind of the rose-colored building, building number 4. This is to remove all locks, a small elevator that was used to lift material up to the mixers. Now, this is the building that our architects identified in our artifact inventory to keep the 2 large mixers where they are. So this means basically everything in the building to be removed and keep those 2 large mixing containers over the last several months. And then we have structure 13, 2 tanks and concrete containment along the north wall of building number 10. The former substation, which is just the pylon and the hardware, DEQ's asking that we keep the fencing around it, and they will assist us with some soil remediation at that. Commonly, you might see some contamination at our substation in the soil. There was a frac tank next to building number 29, that's structure 15. All of these change orders, if they're all selected, they give you a best value price option for the all-inclusive discount of $68,700. And then that would go up if you're just kind of picking off of these. I think my interpretation of this change order is that this is what I believe you all want removed from the site. We want this pretty flat site, so to speak, minus the topography, of course, and get these things removed now while we have a demolition contractor out there mobilized. We are still very well below the next low bid on this project when we selected Trifecta Demolition to do this project. I think we were approximately $959,000 as a total bid from Trifecta. So adding in $68,000, is still well beyond the other bidders that were near $1.325 million. The city of Lowell received $2 million in direct funding from the state of North Carolina to bring down this site community. And it is not tax dollars doing this work. Yes, we will be using that $2 million, correct.
That will cover what's.
That will cover the change order. Okay. And there will be more change orders.
Right.
I know that I went out to the site today with the superintendent, and they took the slab out of an old pump house at the back of the property, and they found about a 9-foot pit. And it's just water in the pit, but we need to make it safe, so we need to fill it, test, fill, and then cover it and grade over it. So that is the recommendation from them, and our project administrators with Labella are working with city staff and North Carolina DEQ to make sure that goes that way. And get ahead of myself on my comments later on this, but we have tested every single slab, all these at 20. There's some small areas and upwards of 30 structures out there. I think only 2 remain as of today. And all of those TCLP samples of the concrete slabs came back negative on this site. So applaud yourself on all the long, many years you did to work on this project and look at it very thoroughly, because I think looking through those thousands of pages of former environmental studies on this project really paid off when we knew what we were getting. You know, we knew that this site could be remediated, and appreciate that. But so again, at hand is staff's recommendation, our engineer's recommendation for that $68,700 best value discount change order total.
We've got this, we've got the other change order coming that you're aware of. What else is out there?
So they're still pulling up slabs now. And as they pull up slabs, Geosyntec, as the NCDEQ's environmental consultant, they are using North Carolina's purse of funds from DEQ to test the soils underneath the slab and see if there's any soil remediation needed. And then we will ask the state, out of the bankruptcy funds from this former company, to use some of those bankruptcy funds to remediate those soils, whether that be taking out and take it to a certain site where you can dispose of it and then bring it back in clean fill approved by DEQ. So I see some of that possibly. You never know what you're going to get when you're pulling up a slab. But they pulled up several. There was some sand-looking material that they found under a bit of a slab today. They just wanted to be sure, so they were testing that and getting that analysis done. Everything out there is being very, very thoroughly tested.
After listening to Scott's report, and he said that these things are coming up negative, which is good for us. And plus, you and Scott went to the state and got $2 million. They only charged us what was less than $2 million. What was the price that they charged?
It was approximately $959.
$959,000. So we still got something to work with. So I'll make a motion that we go ahead with the consideration of the report that Scott gave us to do these changes, because we're there and we can't go back, and we still have money to do this. That's my motion, that we go ahead with the consideration of what he's saying.
Motion on the floor.
Second.
Joanne. All in favor? Unanimous? Next, under new business, 6B, amendment to Lowell Code of Ordinances, Branchville.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. A little background on this. Ratified Senate Bill 155 was signed into law by the governor on June 30th, 2017, and became effective on that date, allowing cities to adopt an ordinance permitting the sale of alcoholic beverages starting at 10 a.m. on Sundays instead of the 12 p.m. former deadline. We received a petition from local businesses. It's included in your packet, asking that you all consider adoption of the brunch bill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 local Lowell businesses that signed the petition in your agenda up for your consideration.
I'd like to make a motion that we table that, for a public hearing on Tuesday, November 14th, 2023. I'm sure the public would like to discuss it, and public comments are already over.
Okay. We have a motion and a second for the table.
For a public, yeah, for a public hearing.
Discussion? All in favor? All opposed?
Are we doing
Oh,
it? Still here to do it now.
I don't know that that's right. Is this right here? No, I think voting is based on the agenda, not on her motion. So you're voting for, in Candy's case, her motion to table is yes. You see what I'm saying?
I'm confused. Can you explain?
I'm not sure I understand. Explain your question. I can't see what the votes are, so.
Yeah, I think the way the computer reads now, is Councilman Funderburg made a motion to table, which is not based on the agenda. So the
Right.
vote that popped up was the amendment to Lowell Code of Ordinance Brunch Bill, yea or nay, not
Okay, sorry.
to
Okay.
Then that would be
table.
wrong. My
Okay,
vote was
so
wrong.
this ballot that's listed on our computer needs to be pulled and reset.
And I made that motion because no one was saying anything.
Right,
and
so you
Right.
can make, procedurally, you can make a motion to table. I mean, once a motion is made, then you can only vote on one motion at a time, so there
Right.
was a second. And so the motion that would be voted on would be the motion to table the
But-
agenda item.
But what came up was the motion or a vote, I believe, if I'm wrong.
A motion to set, and I put it in the notes, November, a public hearing for November meeting, so I don't know if you all see that.
No, we don't see it. I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's following the agenda, therefore. No, we can't see it. Want to make sure that what we're voting for is
Correct, so there's,
what's up there.
procedurally, you have a motion to table,
For a public hearing.
correct.
Okay, so you made a
Yeah.
motion to table for public hearing. You second. We went for a vote. There were two
Yes.
yays.
I guess my suggestion would be if our computer system will not allow us to vote on the procedural motion, we should do a vote either by show of hands or roll call.
And my thing is, we can't tell from this what it is.
Okay.
Right.
So what do we need to do?
So right now we have, we did
I didn't see,
two,
we never completed that vote.
two,
Physically, we did two
Candy
yeses
and
and three
Thomas.
Two yeses and three noes. I thought you said that the vote, I was not following what you said. I thought everybody voted on a different motion.
What I'm saying is what we're seeing here
Okay.
does not clarify what it is we're voting for. It appears so far throughout the meeting that we're following the agenda. Her motion does not follow the agenda. This that pops up on her screen that populates does not say what it is. It just says amendment to Lowell Code of Ordinances Brunch Bill, yea, nay, abstain.
Yeah, and it would be, it would be changed in the minutes to reflect what it was for, just
Okay.
like the initial adoption of
I
the
just want
agenda.
to make sure
would
we
be.
all know what it is that we're
Gotcha.
voting for.
Yes, you do need to
What
do
this
that.
is.
Correct. And if there's any question, I think there is, like, a procedure where you can re-vote if people weren't sure what they were voting for, and you can, there is, someone can call for a re-vote to make sure that everybody understood what the motion was and what the second was, and that the vote is properly recorded.
So mine says the vote tally is 3 yea and 1 nay, and 1 abstain. So that's not correct.
Somebody changed it.
I did, I went from there to see if it would change because of what we were voting on.
So do we need to clear that and do the vote again to get it
I
right?
think we just do it verbally,
Okay.
change, we'll make sure the software reflects it.
I think the motion second's already there, we just need to vote, right?
I think procedurally, you would probably have someone call for a re-vote, just to make sure, just to make sure there's not any
Right.
question, and that would be,
Call for a revote.
Okay.
The motion that we table it for a public hearing on Tuesday, November 14th, 2023.
I'll second.
great.
Thomas second. Okay, all in favor? Okay. All opposed? Okay.
So that was a procedural motion to table it. That did not pass, and so you still have your
Still have
agenda
the-
item in front
right.
of you, and you can
Okay.
discuss further. You can entertain a different motion.
Okay.
My issue with tabling it, this is a business. We have 8 businesses in Lowell. Simply just losing sales for people not necessarily staying in Lowell. They're simply traveling through, going to a football game, buying alcohol to take with them. If those sales aren't in Lowell, those sales are in Cramerton, Belmont, everywhere around us. It helps the city. It helps the businesses. People don't just go in to buy alcohol, they buy other things. And I understand the social district, nobody wants it. I completely agree. If that's what you don't want, then fine. I don't agree with hurting our business owners. I mean, regardless, somebody's buying alcohol at 12, somebody's going to 10, it's a 2-hour difference. It's, nothing but a help to the business.
I was approached by 6 different churches, First Free Will Baptist, Church of God, First Baptist, Presbyterian Church, Woodlawn Baptist, and the Methodist Church, that they would like for me to vote no. That's why I brought that up.
Madam Mayor, we did this many years ago. I don't know if you were the mayor or not, about this brunch bill thing.
It's 2017, I believe.
2017, and it didn't pass, and all this is just a rehash of what we've been through, and they want to do it at 10 o'clock. Am I right, Scott? 10 o'clock rather than 12. 2 hours, Councilman Travis said it doesn't make a difference, but to some it does. And Lowell's pretty much very conservative, very religious town, and people can do what they want to do, but, I think that 12 o'clock is not going to hurt anybody for people to wait to 10. If they got to go to Cramerton or Gastonia or on across to Mecklenburg, that's up to them. But just because everybody else is doing something don't mean that Lowell has to do it. And again, going back to what I heard tonight, I am really, really proud of all the citizens who are here and those who've gone, that they're just not going to stand for, they just don't appreciate some things that deal with a lot of alcohol. So that's why I would say let them wait to 12, but it's democracy. I still say we did in 2017, we said no, and now it's up again, so I still say no. Thank you.
I concur that the businesses deserve that. They've been asking for years for that, and they keep getting denied and denied. Travis is right. I have friends that tell me they will get up and go across right into Gastonia, 1,000 feet outside the city limits, and buy alcohol and bring it right back into the city. People are going to drink if that's what they're going to do. And, whether it's, 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock, they will do it. But As far as our businesses, like Travis said, with people passing through, interstate's right there, they're getting off the interstate, they're trying to buy whatever they're gonna need to go tailgate. I think, you know, we've got businesses here that wanna serve, mimosas or whatever with breakfast, or however, if somebody wants to stop by a business and buy a bottle of wine on their way home from church to have with their dinner, they cannot do that, you know, and until after 12 o'clock. And so I think in all fairness to the businesses, yes, we tabled the social district, or we moved it on until maybe further, maybe never. But let's don't take that, you know, a few extra dollars away from our businesses. That's my opinion.
Any other discussion?
Motion to approve ordinance number 10-2023.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor? 3. Opposed? 2. Next, under new business. Oh, I'm sorry.
He's having problems with his
That's
computer.
with the first time we voted on the computer.
I'll correct it in a minute, so that's not, I'll correct it in a minute.
Okay.
The way it came up, so let me go back.
Okay, next is discussion of amendment to traffic calming policy.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to turn this over to the Assistant Police Chief Jeff Harrison in just a moment, but a little background on this is the City of Lowell has a traffic calming policy, and that was established, I believe, in 2016-17 with the former city manager and some of this city council. And what we have found over the years, at least me since 2019, I have never seen a situation where that traffic calming policy has actually triggered a traffic calming measure, you know, like a speed hump, road hump, since then. I think Thomas Shrewsbury could account to that. It was, where were we at, Thomas? Probably 2014 was the last time we installed a speed hump in Lowell. And that was before we actually had this policy, so I don't understand what application that was. Okay. So when we do get calls about speeding in certain neighborhoods, residential areas, we are, or any area for that matter, our police go out with a mobile radar sign and they take the data down. And that data has time and time again not moved it to the caliber of needing a traffic calming measure. And so I think Jeff is going to tell us a little bit about what his thoughts are on the policy and a possible revision of the policy that you all can consider tonight.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Attached to your packet, you should have a copy of the changes that I suggest we make to the traffic calming policy. There are strike-throughs on anything that needs to be removed and highlights on anything that gets added in. I'll quickly go over the highlights of the things that I said to change. We did not have a qualifying criteria section. We will add in a section of under qualifying criteria, streets must serve residential neighborhoods. That same section, the street in question must be no more than 2 lanes wide. No more than 25 miles an hour will be added in there, and a traffic volume of 300 cars or more to qualify for this. The biggest, I don't want to say hole, but the biggest problem with the traffic calming policy was the Class A and Class B categories that the analysis would fall into. It used average speed, and what I've found since we started conducting these studies is the average speed is normally very, very low. One of the studies I did in a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit zone, the average speed was 14. Another one, the average speed was 21 miles an hour, but these residents they had a complaint that there were cars speeding in their area. So it was not triggering any real action according to our traffic calming policy. So I started to look at what might be a better measurement, and the standard that DOTs across the nation uses 85th percentile, meaning the speed at which 85% of the cars are traveling. And ironically enough, our traffic analysis program that we use to download our information and put that into graphs so it's easy to read has an 85th percentile setting on it. That same street that had the 14-mile-an-hour average speed, the 85th percentile was 24 miles an hour. So you see that gets us much closer to a realistic picture of how fast most of the cars on the street are traveling. So it would change the Class A and Class B from average speed to 85th percentile speed. And also, under Class A, it was 0 to 9 miles an hour. That would change to 1 to 9 miles an hour. 0 miles an hour over the posted speed limit would mean that there's always a problem. So that would change to 1 to 9 miles an hour. Those are the big changes. Everything else was just some changes in language, some punctuation problems that I found, and just some procedural problems with the policy that make us fit better. And for your reference, I used our traffic calming policy, Dallas's, Belmont's, Kings Mountain's policy, and I had one policy that was not labeled with where it came from. I'm not sure where it came from, but these recommendations that are in here are from those policies and ours kind of all mixed together that would best suit the city.
And just to clarify that this is only applicable to city streets. We cannot do anything with NCDOT state roads.
Okay, any questions?
I might make a suggestion that anytime we do anything as relates to roads, be it police, public works, or anything else, when we're doing that, if we could put a map out that highlights the roads that are not ours, so people understand. We're doing the best we can with what is ours, what's not ours. We've petitioned, those organizations, but this is what we can control.
We have a PAL bill map is what that's referred to, because we get a portion of the gas tax back from the state every year, approximately $90,000 to $100,000 a year, to help repave our approximately 13 plus miles of city streets. And Joe, I'm not sure if you've got that lodged on your planning department page, but we can definitely get that on there. We have a map available to
I think it's
upload.
important that everybody understands.
Sure,
This is what we can do.
sure.
Is this up for public discussion?
No, sir.
I'd just like to know why the criteria is at 300 vehicles before you can get speed bumps. You only have 250, you're doing 60 to 25, doesn't qualify. So what happens if you have 250 vehicles, they don't qualify for speed bumps?
Most of the cities around us are 500 vehicles in neighborhoods. I chose 300 because we're a smaller city. I don't have the figure right in front of me, but we've been well over 300 on all the streets that I've studied so far.
Is that in a day, 24-hour period?
No, that would be over a week, or excuse me, a 10-day period.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, let me correct that. It is an average daily traffic volume of 300 vehicles or more.
So it's in a 24-hour period.
It's an average of the 10 days that we study, an average of the days of 10 days that we study.
So anyone with less than 200, 300 wouldn't qualify even if they're doing 60 and 25.
Again, the smallest street that we've got, that we've studied so far, the smallest neighborhood that we've referenced was well over 300 cars. So if that's the smallest neighborhood in Lowell, then any street that we study that's 25 miles an hour that we have care, custody, and control over will be above that 300, and that's why I chose 300.
Okay, any other discussion with the board? Council? Okay. Need a motion?
We can't hear you.
Sorry. Need
Make a motion to approve the amendment to the traffic calming policy.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor? Unanimous? Okay, next on the agenda is 6D, Budget Amendment Number 5.
Let the Finance Director, Lisa, discuss this item.
Evening, Mayor and Council. Once we had finally moved all of the ARPA funds and I went to close the bank account, I had to wait a day. There was accrued interest. So this $1,239.37 is that accrued interest that we earned on that account at the bank. And this budget amendment is just moving those ARPA funds to the general fund.
Make a motion to approve budget amendment number 5.
Second.
Motion and a second on the floor. All in favor? Unanimous? Next is 6E, Budget Amendment Number 6.
Lisa again.
I put all of mine in order, so y'all see me for just a bit. Number 6 is actually to move that ARPA interest to our Community Investment Fund.
Motion to approve budget amendment number 6.
Second.
Motion and a second on the floor. All in favor? Unanimous? Okay. Next is Resolution 07-2023.
Thank you, Mayor. Turn this over to Lisa in just a moment. This is a resolution to formally adopt the Community Investment Fund into the city's financial system. Community Investment Fund, as I mentioned last month in the meeting, we talked about this during the City Council budget retreats this year, as well as an account to be used for sort of capital purchases above the $75,000 amount. This was set in place by the council to have funds available for critical infrastructure as it relates to city facilities, water sewer infrastructure, perhaps any smaller city road projects, and what am I missing? Parks and recreation items as well.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 07-2023.
Second.
Motion and second on the floor. All in favor? Unanimous? Next is Budget Amendment Number 7.
And Lisa.
Thank you. Since we did the resolution to formally adopt the Community Investment Fund, basically what this budget amendment is doing is just moving all of those SIF funds that we had originally moved within the general fund into its own fund. It's actually Fund 41. So that's where that money will be housed. for that community investment fund.
Motion to approve budget amendment number 7, budget ordinance FY 23-24.
Motion and second on the floor. All in favor? Unanimous. Next, under new business, 6H, consideration of approval of City of Lowell task order with Withers and Ravenel.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is in relation to our DWI project, or SRP ARP 0301. This is a grant that the city applied for our wastewater treatment plant, to study that treatment plant at a possible merge regionalization with the Two Rivers utility provider. This $400,000 grant, we did receive the maximum amount of $400,000. In your in your city council packet, you'll see the former application to DEQ DWI on that. Funding amount requested was $400,000, and the engineer Labella that prepared this grant application had a total project cost of $669,850, and the corresponding resolution that you all approved for this in the past. Staff is recommending that we award this pre-construction planning grant to Withers Ravenel at a total cost of their proposal is $588,000. That leaves a delta of $188,000, which would be paid from a combination of funding sources. We have system development fees from oncoming developments going on in Lowell, water and sewer fund balance, and the direct funds that we received from the state of North Carolina and the most recent approved state budget of $8.25 million. And I believe Withers Ravenel is here somewhere, perhaps, okay, there's Ken. You wanna give us a little rundown, Ken?
I was hoping she'd leave.
Yep, she's on a roll of getting approved, so I was hoping she was gonna stay up here. So again, this is more so, and we also have Amanda Whitaker, who's our funding, because most of this is about hoops you have to jump through as part of the process. Most of the costs we're learning now. They are not, we've all heard the term shovel ready, right? We all learned that lesson. So what we do now is we put together projects that are meant to help communities kind of pull all these funds together and work with the regional partners. And so this project is about working with your regional partners to lower the burden on the ratepayers in the future. And so it involves the typical planning, design, survey, as well as construction observation, taking us through the entire thing. There was also a section in there, because of the hoops you have to jump through, that the finance director is probably well aware of, and I know the manager is aware of some of the hoops you have to jump through. There's also a section in the contract to assist the staff with having to jump through those hoops and make sure that all compliance is taken care of through the state with those funds.
Any questions?
Motion to approve 6H, is that okay to say it just like that, or do you need to read it out?
That's good.
Second.
Have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor? Unanimous. Next under new business is 6I. Centralina Regional Council Statement of Work Amendment for approval.
Cheryl's busy over there. I'll start. She can grab anything that I might leave out. Our contract with Centralina to oversee the community center construction of the exterior remodels and the second tranche of the homes from the CDBG Neighborhood Revitalization Grant expired at the end of September. And we now have to go to another statement of work amendment, a contract with Centralina. And you have an updated version that's not in your packet that was placed on your desk that we received today because we were waiting on an edit. They had incorrect amount of properties at the bottom of it. There was one dropout on the houses to be rehabilitated and another that didn't qualify. So you'll see there that the additional fees that they're estimating for this statement of work amendment is a total of $7,000 to be paid out of the CDBG NR grant funds. Leave anything out, Cheryl? Good?
No, it just to let them know that, it dropped a little bit, like 2,000, they should cut it to about $2,000 because of the house and the community center. That should, the two houses that shouldn't have been on the other. So it's just a little less, but it's all coming out of the CDBG and our.
Okay. Any questions?
Motion to approve 6I.
Second.
Motion is second on the floor. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, next is reports and discussion. City manager?
Come up first. Mayor, thank you. Good news today. We sent out some information to the public on this. Friday, we received confirmation that the city was awarded another $500,000 grant from the Land and Water Conservation Fund that we applied for to total, and I'll wait on the train because this is important.
Yeah, wait on the train.
I'm accustomed to that. All right, so back to the report here. Land and Water Conservation Fund awarded the City of Lowell another $500,000 for our Harold Rankin Park renovation project, which is about half of the renovations that we identified in a public master planning process for that. So couple that with what we were awarded, and we're waiting on the contract from Part F funds and another $500,000, like I said, a total of $1 million for this phase of redevelopment of Harold Rankin Park. Which is fantastic. It's on the website. We put it out on social media, but just for those that don't look at those, this is for a new restroom facility expansion of playground. The lower ball field will be oriented more into a rectangular field, and the second phase will encompass the primary ball field on a redevelopment plan. Other small things like pickleball courts at the existing basketball courts that we have, at the addition of a half-court basketball court, a trail in the woods, bocce ball, and I think I got it all covered there. Christy, you're peeking at me. Yeah. She helped on the grant application as well, our former Parks and Rec director. So very happy to have received that packet in the mail and that notification. Also, we did receive direct funding from the state of North Carolina's budget, 2 tranches there, one for $8.25 million to City of Lowell for water and sewer rehabilitation projects, construction projects, expansion projects, just water and sewer use on that $8.25 million. And that is direct funds, which means it's essentially like a grant. There's not a payback on those funds as long as you administer them correctly. Also, the second tranche was some discretionary funds for downtown parking improvements and community center interior remodel of $150,000, also from the state of North Carolina's approved budget. And then couple that, we've mentioned this before, but the DWI funding that we received of a total of $7.9 million for water and sewer upgrades. A little over $2 million of that is a grant with $500,000 as principal forgiveness, leaving about a $5.3 million amount. And this is for the regionalization project. This is for the construction project of what Withers Ravenel just explained that they're going to now be working on for the pre-construction engineering piece of that regionalization merge project. And that remaining, like I mentioned, $5.3 million is at I think it's 0.74% interest rate. And we all know where interest rates are now, and that is a phenomenal rate and program that's offered through DEQ and DWI. And really, I think the only thing else I got to say is thank you to all my staff. They've been tremendous here lately. We get these grants, and that's great, but the legwork to get them, working with, if we're using a consultant to help us write the grants, thank them, but thank the staff for really being there. And another shout out that, like Ms. Mitchum said, the Fall Festival was the best I've ever seen it. And we'll take all the concerns into hand and try to account for everything that we can. But really big shout out to all the staff that helped with that, because it takes a whole city to do that whole project. You have Public Works, you have police, you have Parks and Rec. I have utility billing people signed up to help Parks and Recreation, because that's a one-person show in the city of Lowell. And not just that Fall Festival, but here recently over the last several months, the staff has really been working hard, and I just want to give them a shout out. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. John?
Nothing from me tonight, Mayor.
Okay. Thomas?
Yeah, I just want to thank Scott and his staff, which includes recreation, every other department, zoning, everything. This man has done a magnificent job. Mayor, you recommended him to a council many years ago. How long have you been here, Scott, as city manager? A couple of years?
3 years
3
and 7
years.
days as manager.
In 3 years and 7 days, he has done what it would take others fail to do in years.
Move mountains.
It is true, and I've been on this council a long time, and he has helped us bring a thread trail from South Carolina all the way headed, not yet, to Spencer Mountain, where people can get out and exercise and walk and just do great things, all because he had a good staff along with his vision to see these things. Ken and I always wanted people to get grants. He's got more grants than anybody that I've known. I don't know, Ken, you could correct me if I'm wrong, as a city manager that I've ever known. He has worked on a public facility, getting these old dump trucks and things right from downtown, headed them toward the outer parts of Lowell, which includes an annexation of hopefully of 400 or 500 houses. He's done some things that nobody has ever done since we've been on this council. He's got a riverfront park in the way where you can kayak, build amphitheaters and things like that. Somebody said, oh, that's just what Lowell needs, another park. Yeah, we need it in Lowell because people like the Fuse, and I know Gastonia's listening, we'll be able to put the Fuse Park in our park. He's gonna try, along with the next mayor and council, whoever they are, hopefully it's us, to get a new police station and a new city hall. The man is working hard. And last but not least, as he already mentioned, I'm gonna piggyback on what he said. This was one of the biggest and best fall festivals that we've ever had. COVID kept us in the house. COVID took a lot of people out of this world. But Scott didn't let that stop him. We had one of the biggest fall festivals with a wonderful band and vendors and everything that I've ever seen. So I just want to say hats off to the staff of Lowell, to Scott, to this council, whether people realize it or not. I like one man said we got too many critical people, not a lot that come to the podium. But if people would just listen to this YouTube, they would see that Gillespie's has mentioned a lot of things that have been done right. And we're gonna keep on doing them, whether, in the future. Thank you, Scott. That's all I want to say, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Travis?
I just want to echo what Scott and Gillespie said. We've got a lot of good things going on, a lot more to come. We appreciate y'all coming out tonight. I would just like to not leave out the river sweep. This Saturday morning, last year we had 7, I believe, show up. This year we had 35. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if Jamie's in here. But it was great, just as well as the fall festival. So it was a good weekend in Louisville.
Right, Lincoln.
Candy. I just want to thank the citizens for coming out. This is the most we've had, and usually it is during the budget time or something controversial, but I invite everybody to come when it's just regular stuff like the sewer system. You know, that's fun to sit up here and talk about, but and stormwater, we have to. And you guys don't understand what really goes on running a city. Scott and his staff has done an excellent job. The grants, you know, it takes more than one person to work on the grants in different areas. It takes time, and then when they get it, we've been working on the revitalization of the Birch Street area for years. And then they take some money away, or the grant people says we can't do this, and then the city gets to blame for everything. Sometimes it's not the city's fault, and I wish people would realize that and do some more research instead of blaming the ones that are up here. And sometimes we make mistakes, you know, we're all human too. But I think the city's doing good. I went walking on the trail the other day for 2 miles, about killed myself because I'm not used to it. Then I learned how to play bocce, is that how you say it, bocce? Today with the seniors, and by the way, I beat my husband and Mr. Norris over there. But we had a great time, and I hope that we'll have a lot more activities coming for our citizens soon. Within the next year, hopefully, some really good things will happen. Y'all just hang on. Thank you.
And I say something, when we moved into where we are on Robinson Street, it was nothing but a dirt road. When it rained, it was more up to your feet. 85 was not here, because it wasn't installed. My husband and I, one time, our car, we couldn't get our car out and working in the cabin. We walked that whole place all the way down, out of Robinson Street. When I got there, I was crossing it, and so, cut it. And when it melted, the snow melted, it was just pure mud. And we come up here and it comes down to our home. Because I want you to see what's done. They never come, you know, and then they finally came. And they realized we've been begging for them to do something for the road for years. Well, I'm begging now for you to make it a little bit wider. A little bit wider. I love the sewer system, and that is great, but it really needs to be at least foot and a half wide. Because if you come down through there, you will have wide. You cannot pass. I have to pull over, and sometimes there's no place to pull over. Or they put the guard up at that new, well, funny place down there. There's no way for cars to get through there. There's no way. You take your car down that street and it's fast. I can't afford it, so I won't keep mine. I'm too old. So, you know, it's just the fact that, and they just railroad cut up where I cannot do everything. So, you know, but I don't do that for them. At least got two other ways out. But, you know, they really need to look at that road and see, cannot widen it somewhere. We don't know who exactly owns the property across the, there's trees on that, on farm, somebody needs to let that person know. And that tree, not one, but they can give, so they give them all, they're just leaning over to the side.
Joe, you get her contact information for me?
Thank you.
It needs to, it really needs to be done, we work hard to try to keep our place up. You know, the people at the street, they really have done a tremendous job. More days in that house that we don't have over here. Because it's made people feel.
Thank
We
you.
work hard on making people feel
We'll have Joe get up with you, yes. Thank you so much. Phil?
Just a couple quick things. I want to remind everyone, including this council, that we are a manager council form of government, and there is a lane that council lives in, and things that we do and things that we don't do. Knowing where we live is very important. Knowing where we live keeps the city safe legally and from disruption. It is not up to us individually as council members to approach any city employee in any capacity outside of the city manager. If you were to come to me as public with a concern, I would take it to Mr. Attaway. I do not take it to any department that's referred to. I do not take my personal opinions about a specific department to that department employee. Whether I think their job is warranted or not, should be this, should be that, is not for discussion. I don't set employees up via third-party phone calls or anything else. We have a job to do here. We don't have to all agree on everything at this council, but we have to live in a certain manner that is respectful and courteous and upholds what we're doing here and takes in consideration everything that we put forth, and that is to be transparent, right? To be inclusive. All these things that you'll find on our website. Anything outside of that undermines the mission of this council. That's all.
Thank you, Phil. Joanna?
I just want to echo the thoughts of thanking you all for being here to voice your opinions tonight. Although we don't always agree, okay? You might not agree with the decisions that we make here. We are balancing what it keeps to make a city run and to make a profit for everyone. I applaud all of you that have your morals, your faith. We sitting here, we have Christian beliefs, we have Christian faith, but we also have to keep a city running, and we have to be fair to our businesses. So I just want to, you understand that you don't have to agree with it, and I understand where you're coming from. If my mother were alive today, she and I would be standing face to face arguing this point. But we're in a position that we have to make some tough decisions sometimes. And, so thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing us to hear your voices. And, I hope you all have a safe drive home.
Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate each and every one of you, and please come again.
Madam Mayor, I request a 10-minute recess before public hearing.
Yeah, we have a 10-minute recess.
How do we do legally, how do we do
Travis, second.
Motion second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Yeah, for a break.
Good job, girl. Good job. You do good.
This one bit my ear off. I'm like, what am I supposed to say? I did what I was supposed to. However, whatever it is, I'm like, I'm so done with this year. I just want to go. You got it good. You got it good. Yeah. My thing is, I'm happy out of the question. Those people.
This policy that we
It is what it is. Oh, I started to sit down and feel a seat. I did bring this to show. Thomas Drewsbury.